last event. So great to see from him as well. So there you have it. Now Trevor Pearce Motorcycles Pro Twin liner coming right round the start there again. You see the check helmet board goes up, and that's literally to prompt the riders. They just see them putting their hand up, and they just check their swim track devices when the visor goes down, because when they stop potentially, their visor up just to get that air to throw through. We look at the red lights when they go out. We go racing. That's exactly what's happened. Beautiful starting. Look at the fourth position on the outside. But I tell you what, just as he goes to gear, he actually pulls a little wheelie, and instantly, of course, the throttle drops off, which means the momentum was lost there for the white bike, and he didn't get the charge he wanted. So SJ looking good in the early part of our front as we go to Flexoplast on this opening lap for Trevor Pearce Motorcycles Pro Twins, and it is SJ that leads him out at the moment. Just known as SJ. Don't want to know any other details of his name. It's just what he's wanted to be called and what he's put himself in the program. The 35-year-old from Napier, another volunteer in our sport, board member of Motorcycle New Zealand, a young guy wanting to put something back in our sport, all-round super nice guy. If anybody you want to get to know in our sport, it is SJ. Leads them as they come through the Euro-mark corner. That is a tight corner indeed, and he gets a fine line through there, and that's where either results can be won or lost. But look at that, he's creating the advantage out there already, Spider Staples. So SJ getting away to a start. Doesn't quite look to be the ferocity that we'd seen with that earlier race, and maybe the guys are a little bit sceptical after that last incident. So clean run away.
Well, I think what's happened is what we see here is people have practiced for a couple of days. They haven't necessarily practiced their race craft as such about fighting with each other. In the first race, you see a lot of scrapping. People have got to work out their place in the food chain. They haven't come up against these people maybe in the Suzuki International Series, and I think that explains the possible mayhem in the first lap or two, where people are working out who's fast and who's not. Remember, people might have set the same qualifying times and done that, but they might be stronger in different sections of the track. And I think somewhere along the line we did have on our timing screen the actual sector differences. It tells you some people are stronger. So I think that's the dynamics of some of the squabbling in the early part of the thing. It also could depend on how good your tyre warmers are and how confident you are on your tyre warmers. Some people, I remember Wayne Marshall, he used to get out and smash everyone in the first two laps. He was an amazing starter on the 250 production. He get gobbled up, and we've seen it here as well. So right now, SJ Cavell, Carl Hooper there, Jared Horn, Nick Salverwood, Alex Butson, Vaughan Main, Chris Burt, Angus Boyd, Al Ware, Joshua Double. So don't see number 47 out there as a DNS. It did not start. So 7 laps to go. It was an 8-lap race, and we've got 7 laps to go here.
Oh, there we are, looking for that dice coming up on the inside there at Euromark. Could have been a change to come out through there. Look at that tight on the inside. You can see the yellow coverings there. A little bit of slight point of difference between those two bikes that we watched, but good chance to see the breakout there. I think it's Carl that might have the advantage. Keen to look at them as they go around past Waistco and through Fulton Hogan. Now to breathe their way to come through the Christchurch Casino Carousel. Love that corner. SJ pushed back to that second place. So good work to watch him out there at the moment as we go riding. So it is the 28 of Carl Hooper, the man from Taupo, on the Suzuki SV650, courtesy of CH Automotive, Pirelli Tyres, Suzuki New Zealand, Hollenbach Haulage, along with Murta Crane Hire, the jolly good fellows in Taupo. You've seen it along the Taupo waterfront. Lovely place to wine and dine on there. And Dyno Lab Taupo, of course, that's the fine tuning out of Dyno Lab where Scotty Moyer is based. So great to see some quality sponsors on board for the young Taupo man. That is Carl Hooper to lead him at the moment. This is a young star, double class through the Suzuki International Series. Rode a lovely Suzuki GSXR 750 in post classics. That's pre-1989 model bikes, and that looked as good as it did when it came off the showroom floor. And he also hopped on a machine that the family had made, which is a little F3 handmade bike. Effectively a 125cc Grand Prix chassis, and then it put the 450cc motocross engine inside it. So that was a Formula 3 bike. Now here he is coming out on a Pro Twin, so effectively it's the third different bike that he's been on and racing over the last 3 weeks. So great start from in there, Spider.
Well, I talked to his father, I think Colin, last night, and he said we didn't want to wear out the Pro Twin in the Suzuki Series, so that's why they went to the, look at that CTAS Live slow motion. 2 bikes were rattling there along there, and what they touched there, the slow motion, absolutely. This is action replay, so can't quite pick who the bikes are, but yeah. So they wanted to put, they didn't want to put too many miles on the Pro Twin and wear it out for the NZSBK. Now I always was puzzled why it had a brown fairing on. I'm saying that's Scotty Moyer's old bike. You're saying it's not, Neil. So I went and clarified it because I trust you and I trust my own instincts sometimes, but yours better. And I went and they says, oh no, we've got the fairing off Scotty Moyer's bike with the Town bikes, and it's also got the Jamie Raging DNA. It was originally, I think, one of his bike, and that's part of the thing. And it was a Kawasaki 750 that Carl was running. at the Suzuki International Series. So anyway, let's get back onto the track. Wow, it's tight out the front. The podium sits here for the first round of the first race of the 2020 NZSBK New Zealand Superbike Championships for the Pro Twin class there. And right out the front at the moment on the last lap, it was Carl Hooper, S.J. Cavell and Jared Horn. Lap times 39s and 40s, very, very close. A 43.39 for the third place bike, a 46.74 for S.J. Cavell in second, and a 39.763. So that's a bit of an upset for S.J. Cavell, who qualified fastest and gained 1 point. Let's see what's going on now. That is a 28 machine. This is a borrowed machine as well. They had a problem with their machine yesterday, and it blew up something in the back end of it, and indeed it's come right, and they borrowed a machine, the 28 of Carl Hooper. So Jared Horn, the fastest man on the track, a 1:39.646. We've got the two lead bikes in the 1:39, a 1:39.763. It's one thing getting up behind someone, but finding a place to pass. But Ruapuna is probably the most technical circuit in New Zealand. You've got to get past. But right now, that gap between first and second, that was 6.6 of a second, is staying the same, and he's under threat from S.J. Cavell. That's over at the hairpin. S.J. Cavell in third place at the moment on the yellowish bike there, and Jared Horn on the
fastest in practice, first at qualifying, looking good in the earlier race. Spider and Bingo, whatever the incident was, that has changed things at the moment. Here we are. This has gone from first place back to second, and now back to third. So those young guns, Jared and Carl, have got the upper hand at the moment. Carl Hooper, the one who's getting it all right. So good work out there. It's the Carl Hooper show. Ahead of Jared Horn, ahead of S.J. Cavell. Go to Nick Southwood, long-time legend of our sport, and he's well, he says it's sponsored, but it's not. It's actually a play on words. There's got to be somebody that loves him, because there's not many others. Trump 2020 is the way he's wording himself. So there you go. That's where his vote was. Not that he was able to vote, but you just get the idea. And if you know Nick Southwood, folks, he's really just playing on it. He's looking for a little bit of fun to be had in the paddock, and that's certainly what.
I tell you what, I've been around this sport for decades. I've never seen a set of wheels as absolutely outstanding as. People just don't pay attention to their wheels. Bruce Anstey used to put a triple colour, but he's got a roulette wheel in his wheels. It's been hand painted there, a roulette wheel. So just outstanding for the attention to details. He's been out there. I think he raced a superbike at one stage, or tried to race a superbike, but a long avid supporter of the Pro Twin class, winner of many races. But right now he's sitting there on the bike number 16 in fourth spot. So back to the fastest man on the track, and that is Jared Horn in second place at 1:39.6. He's slowed up by about 0.6 of a second. So something's going on. Why are they getting slower? Maybe the tyres are cooling down. No, I don't think so. Why would they be getting slower? They are. Oh, it may be that he's just. No, he's been dicing. He's dicing there. He hasn't got a clean road and getting a good pit board. There's a few pit boards come out to give him the information, but that's all right. 4 laps to go.
All right, SJ's moving. SJ's trying to move up there as well. So SJ getting back on attack. Big changes going on in that second place fight, because let alone the fact that they've changed around. 3's gone 2 and 2's gone 3, but there's at this stage there's 20 odd metres between them. So those bike links starting to make a serious difference. It's all about Carl Hooper out in front. Can he keep his cool? Can he keep his place? This young gun who just matured so much through the Suzuki International Series, getting better and better on the 2 classes that he contested, is now on all here for a great bike win. Man, a debut win in Pro Twins. How would that be? Opening round NZSBK 2021 here at Mike Perro Motorsport Park, and we're on fire with this class. Pro Twin racing, dipping it down through the dipper, as it's called, the R1a Insurance Corner. See that as the bikes almost go out of sight as they go down through. When you complete this area, of course, you could fit 50 rugby fields here at Mike Perro Motorsport. Aren't going to be as flat as, except for the dipper. That's the little low bit, and they've made that super corner. We love it for motorbikes. Generally the cars don't stay in there when they're having their racing, but we love it from a bike point of view, giving some real technical excellence. Bring it on with some great racing. There we go with our trio. Looking out for it at the moment. It is Carl, it is SJ, it is Jared, officially confirming that change for second. Happened over there at Icon before and down into Euromark hairpin, and the change is gone. And the margin 0.5 between them, 0.5. But I tell you what, it's 1.7. That's a big buffer. Now watch SJ Cavell try and fight his way back. Remember that 1.7 officially 3.5, because can he reel it back in off Carl Hooper? Carl might be getting some confidence, but has he got any nerve? I think the guy's almost unrattleable, Spider. He just called Carl in the press interview last night. It was just fantastic. This is an 18-year-old with 25-year-old head on his shoulders. He is a real man of our sport.
Oh, indeed. I'm telling you what, I'm looking at the big battle for 4th and 5th, Alex Butts and Nick Southwood. You can see that battle going into the hairpin, the Aon hairpin here at Ruapuna Park, Mike Perro Motorsport Park there. This battle is going on. They must have changed position in the last lap probably 10 times. So they're fighting it out. The best lap by Alex Butson, who's in the front at the moment. I think 141.961, 141.868. So that's 0.1 of a second. But there's only 4 to 5 bike lengths in that going round into the big Christchurch Casino carousel. So the battle might have spread it out. The podium might have spread out, although it seems to be closing up between second and third there. But this is for 4th and 5th, and these guys have been going at it all the way through there. It's the biggest that's spread out now with, I think, Nick Salwood there in second in that group for about 2 to 3 laps. Looking around for the lead bike coming onto the front straight. There'll be 2 laps to go after this. Comes on there, and it is Carl Hooper on the number 28 machine. A borrowed bike as well, a borrowed bike. It's outstanding that people are sharing their equipment around. And Hooper goes through, and then here's Jay Cavell and Jared Horn, who's the quickest. The last lap times are all in the 40s. It's going to pan out, it's going to widen up. 40.1 for Carl Hooper, 40.5 for the second place, 40.9. So that's only going to spread out. Right now, a 42.350 and a 42.490 for Alex Butson and Nick Southwood. Nick Southwood doesn't give up, mate. This guy will have his race face on. He'll be charging there. He's going to close up the gap possibly. But right now, it is Alex Butson that's just that little bit quicker. We go back to Vaughan Main on the 6th position now on the number 49 machine. Chris Burt goes through, and another tiny battle going on between Angus Boyd and Al Weir. Angus Boyd and Al Weir, and a 2-second gap between them. They're at the tail end of the field. So Joshua Double. In fact, that's the battle between Al Weir and Joshua Double, 0.165. I looked over there, so that's not a 2-second gap, so that's the battle at the tail end of the field. We're still looking at that battle going through the Fulton Hogan corner, and that is Alex Butson on 18 and Nick Southwood on number 16. That's the battle of the race at the moment in the Pro Twins, brought to you by Access Man, also supported by TP Trevor Pierce Yamaha, your local Yamaha dealer, 156 Ferry Road, Christchurch.
All right, the big battles are certainly there to be fought out at the moment. How's this from young Carl Hooper? I tell you what, he's the guy that you want in your rugby team as well. A solid guy, thick set, super strong man. A day's racing to him in this kind of heat will be nothing. He can handle it with ease. The other thing, of course, is a little bit of a class whereby power to weight ratio, probably SJ would sit maybe 8 kilos lighter, and sometimes the power is great, but with a bit of extra weight is hard work. But Carl, that's no barrier to that man whatsoever. As SJ's finding out, talked about 1.7, now it's a 3.9. I was expecting to see that 1.7 to be whittled down, but 3.9 has gone out the other way. Then it's a further 2.3 back to Jared Horn. Then we go to the battle with Alex Butson, who's moved in front of Nick Southwood as Spider had updated. That happened a lap and a half ago. Vaughan Main in there, and Chris Burt, young Angus Boyd, another 18-year-old we had on board with us for our press conferences here last night, something that you can see on CTAS Live as well. One of the better press conferences across our classes. Really enjoyed those last night, and I'd fairly recommend you got, all we see is a sort of like almost a ghost, a person you can't see because they're in behind protective gear and a helmet, so you don't get to see the face of these guys. But when you see them in person, man, oh man, they're some top caliber men and women in our sport.
Southwood goes up on Butson. This is the battle I've been watching. He comes back at him. That's at the hairpin. Southwood goes up on the inside. Classical hairpin move, but overcooks it. Get back in there. Sorry, Neil Ritchie.
No, don't be sorry at all. We're going to see it on a live stream update here at the moment, courtesy of CTAS Live Euromark. Look at that. And down and under Demon breaking on the inside. Look at that right. In fact, he has a double hesitation. He's got his knee on the ground. The side, see that? Gone out too wide. So it was in and now it was out. So he had it and he lost it. So he didn't have it, then he got it, then he lost it, and then try and get it back. Fantastic.
Well, given his political thing about Trump, I bet he's the last person to put his knee on the ground, but he had to then. One gone down on one knee, but not for the BLM. You don't even talk to that around him. That battle's coming in and out of the hairpin. We're on 1 lap to go. The checkered flag is out. We've got the lead bikes coming through. Set his fastest lap in lap 7. Carl Hooper, 1 set of tyres for the whole weekend, so it's interesting with a lead like that, so long a lead, he's actually getting faster and faster and possibly wearing his tyres out. Here's Jay Cavell. I mean, that was 6.4 seconds. There's Jay Cavell in second spot. Jared Horn in third spot. Across the line. Now we're looking out for Alex Butson and Nick Southwood. It will be Alex Butson. He's snaking all over the track, trying to break the slipstream, but Southwood can see that. So it was Butson, then Southwood, and we're looking at those 3 bikes coming out of the dipper. 3 of the, I think 5 left on the track. In fact, no, there's a couple more coming along there. 49 goes through Vaughan Main on the 650 SV Suzuki. Of course, they all are on this track at the moment. Chris Burt comes along there, and it is the last 3 bikes there as Neil Ritchie disappears to go and do the interviews. Angus Boyd, Joshua Double, and Al Weir. And the fastest lap of the race, a 1:39. 1:39, way off the lap record of a 1:37.9, and that's set by Bailey Periton, and that's a wee while ago. In fact, Bailey's been out of that sport for 2016, so that's 4 years ago, but that's right. That's the boys are still going hard and strong. One more race for them tomorrow, early in the morning, and then we've got the New Zealand Grand Prix, which is also doubling as a points race. So 3 points races this weekend, 3 points races at Levels International Raceway next weekend near Timaru. 3 races at Hampton Downs in early March. Don't have the dates in front of me at the moment, and then we go to Taupo for the final round. Good to MNZ have pulled together a New Zealand Superbike Championship. It's not a last minute thing, of course. They had to look along COVID time of what was going to happen and predict the future, which was nobody could do. But they've done extremely well and got a strong field here. Don't forget, folks, tell people there's racing on here tomorrow. Yes, you can watch it live at home, but it's better to be at the track and then watch it delayed later. We're going to go over to Neil Ritchie as we've got to get line of sight and see whether he's down there, down in the podium. All the bikes come into a thing called Park Firme. That means they can check their tyre stickers and that sort of thing, that their allocated tyres are on the bikes and that. They lead. 3 bikes go up to the Aon podium there and the NZSBK podium and get interviews and that. They're still part of the Park Firme situation. I'm not too sure how long they've got to wait. Sometimes we've had at the NZSBK, they've got to be there for 30 minutes in case there's any protests come in, but I haven't paid attention to that at the moment. We've sort of been doing other things. So Neil Ritchie, part of the Turbo Sound, he'll be joined by his son tomorrow. I'll be stepping down. They pulled me in just for one day to do my job, and then I'll be taking off my official shirt tonight and just enjoying the weekend and going and watching on the motorcycle racing on the bank. Excellent racing, folks.
Well, here we are straight away at our Underground Brown podium, and Jared Horn, welcome to racing. Jared, we haven't seen a lot of you down here.
No, this is actually my first time down here, and I was hoping on a bit more practice time, but yesterday was pretty trying with the wet conditions in the morning, and managed to get a dry run in the afternoon, and then thankfully we had another practice this morning, and good old Nick Sutherwood gave me a tow this morning, so got a few lines. Yeah. The Pirelli tyres are just sticking wonders out there, and Robert Taylor from KSS Suspension has hooked us up with a really good YSS shock, and it's just doing the trick.
All right, so what do you put it down to? This is a completely different track. You almost need a GPS to get your way around here. Everybody talks it as one of the hardest tracks to learn in the country, but you've done it with ease.
Oh, I don't know about with ease, but yeah, I did a little bit of research, watched some onboards, and picked a few brains about the circuit. Yeah, that's bloody awesome.
It is awesome. What a cool story. Love to hear that. Here he is, first timer and looking good. And for SJ, well, we won't ask what excuses you got, SJ. Luckily, mate, you managed to get your way back to here because you were back there. Hey, these young guys aren't too bad, are they?
No, mate, they're going good. As we said in the press conference, there's plenty of talent in this class. And hey, I didn't have an answer for Carl today, so congratulations to him. But hey, after the disaster of last year, not making it through the first lap, I just said, hey, look, let's just get some points on the board and we'll go from there.
Indeed. What all right, boys are talking about their tyres hooking up and how good it's feeling. What's it like out there on the bike for you?
Yeah, no, hey, Bridgestone tyres working really well. And I think we'll have the edge tomorrow when these boys' Pirellis start to fade away. The Bridgestone lasts longer, so look out, we're coming.
All right, SJ, nice talk, nice short. Carl Hooper, congratulations, Carl. Hey, I've got to ask you the honest question, mate. How did that happen?
I have no idea. I just, you know, I knew I had the pace. Those Pirelli tyres were sticking up a dream. And put the move on him down in the hairpin. And then, you know, I thought he was going to be right there, which he was for a few laps. And so I kept my head down, and then towards the end I just sort of eked that gap out and then just managed the rest of the race. But I got to say a really, really big thank you to Lee from KOP Racing, because my bike had some technical issues yesterday, and so he's let me use Beno's old bike, and without him, you know, there's no way I could even have raced today. So huge thanks to Lee, Pirelli Tyres, Hallenbach Haulage, Murder Crane High, all those guys make it possible, eh?
Well done, what a cool story. So there you go, folks, this is Pro Twin Racing. So all of a sudden, we've got a little bit of an upset. SJ looking awesome through practice and qualifying. Has a bit of a setback at one stage to third, but deservedly gets up to second. Jared Horn, never been to Mike Perry Motorsport Park before. Bang, here he is in third place, first up. And Carl Hooper turning the Suzuki Series into some great results out of post-classics and then out of Formula 3. Bang, here he is on a different bike doing it in our Pro Twins today. Some awesome racing, part of Underground Brown, along with Mac Media and our friends from Pirelli, Aon Insurance, and brought to you you here on Sky Sport Next. Stick with us, more 2021 racing.